And we are live. Back again, match week 31, the roundup. Well, we have all 10 results in. And in today's episode, I'll be talking about the results, reacting to some of these results. We won't be going too deep into each and every one of the games like, minute by minute. You see what I'm saying? That's not what we're going to do today. We will be looking at the results and how they affect the table and how the teams down towards the bottom of the table are looking, the teams in the middle, the teams fighting for the European places, and of course, the title race. We do have a title race on our hands, guys. Yeah, we got a title race. When I thought that we weren't going to have a title race, surprise. We got a title race, man. Liverpool, Man City, two best teams in the league. And it's on, man. It's on. We had some shock results this weekend as well. And we had some games that we expected them to go the way they went. And we're going to get into all of that right about now. So, guys, I'm your boy Dominic Rich. Thanks again for 50,000 subs. Stay subscribed if you have been enjoying the content. And if you're new, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Guys, like the video if you haven't yet done so. If you're watching a replay, thank you very much for tuning into yet another one. And let's get this thing going. Let's talk, man. Let us talk. We had a game today. Palace take derby. Honors to deny Arsenal top four return. Mateta, Ayew, and Zaha scored to sweep aside fifth place Gunners at Selhurst Park. Okay, so we're actually going to start with that game. We're going to get into that one. Crystal Palace 3, Arsenal 0. I predicted a 1-1 draw. So it was a solid prediction because I didn't predict Crystal Palace to lose the game. I didn't think Arsenal would have won the game based on how Palace, have been playing at home recently. And they did get a 0-0 draw against Manchester City in their previous Premier League game. And they smashed up Everton. So in back-to-back games, Patrick Vieira's Crystal Palace scored 7 goals, didn't concede a single one. So it just shows that the Eagles, Palace, they're going in the right direction. And I'm happy for Patrick Vieira, man. I'm really happy for him coming up against a team that he actually had a legendary career for. And it must have been a pleasure for him. It must have felt good to beat Arsenal. It must have felt freaking good, man. So, guys, let's talk about this game, briefly. Crystal Palace 3, Arsenal 0. Jean-Philippe Mateta in the 16th. That was from a set piece and not well dealt with by Arsenal. I think Crystal Palace got a little lucky with the header from Joachim Andersen. He was falling down and it came off of Gabriel's head onto Joachim Andersen, and Mateta, who is enjoying life at Crystal Palace, where his loan deal from Mainz have been made permanent, where it was looking like I was hearing things that they weren't planning on keeping him, but he has definitely looked good lately after his brilliant opening goal last season, that scorpion kick goal against Brighton. So Jordan Ayew in the 24th minute, he needed that goal badly. He really, really did. And the movement by Crystal Palace and that pass, long-range pass by Joachim Andersen, brilliant, man. He was at Fulham last season, remember, guys, and he was one of the bright spots in that Fulham team that got relegated. He was on loan from Lyon, and then he didn't go down with Fulham. He actually joined Crystal Palace on a permanent basis, where him and Mark Guehi, who on the strength of those performances earned himself an England call-up. So a lot of positives for Crystal Palace, man. And look, Arsenal being 2-0 down, they did have some opportunities early in the second half. Odegaard had a chance. I think Smith Rowe had a chance. They had some really good chances that they didn't take. And if they had pulled one back, it could have been a different game, They could have gotten a second and it could have ended in a draw. They could have just sneaked a late win. But they weren't clinical on the day. I don't know if it's that international break rust that Arsenal are suffering right about now. But they didn't look like the team that are looking like they're going to really, really give top four a good fight. That was not the Arsenal we saw today at all. They looked a bit flat, you know what I mean? They had a few players out while Tierney had to pull out. And he had another change. I think Smith Rowe came in for Martinelli. So a few changes made by Mikel Arteta, and I don't know. They just didn't play with enough energy today, in my opinion, man. If you take a look at the 11 here, look, before we get into the 11, Zaha on a brilliant run, taken down by Odegaard, and he stepped up and he dispatched his penalty brilliantly. So quality performance by Crystal Palace here. Look, their lineup right now with Tyreek Mitchell, Guehi, and Anderson playing well. Klein solidifying a spot at right back as well. And the likes of Conor Gallagher, who worked very, very hard on it, deserves a lot of credit, man. But for Arsenal, look, they could have put a little bit more into this. You know what I'm saying? I think Thomas Partey had a injury setback, if I'm not mistaken. So a lot of things that Arsenal needs to work on in this the upcoming games if they are to actually compete for that top four spot. You see what I mean? It's been good up until now. They don't want to get back into their August form. You see what I'm saying? I do have a fixture running for Arsenal and Spurs as well that I would like to share with you guys when the time comes. So big up to everybody watching the stream once again. We're just warming things up. We're just warming up. You know what I mean? We're just warming up. But Arsenal look pretty flat on the day. Pretty flat. Crystal Palace there, you know, good stats in terms of their shots on target. You see that? They didn't have a lot of the ball. Arsenal bossed possession, but didn't really do much with it. You see what I'm saying? They look good. They look good on the ball, passing it around. They had a lot of the ball, but in the final third, not good enough on the day, man. Aaron Ramsdale is another player that came into the fray where he looked very, very doubtful coming into the match, and he did not have a great game at all. Not at all. So Guaita had a better game than him, and he's quietly had a solid season where there was one time there was, you know, a little competition between him and Jack Butland, but it seems like Vieira has settled on Vicente Guaita in goal. So big 3 points for Crystal Palace. I didn't think they would have went on to win this game, but on the strength of some of their performances this season, it's not a surprise to me at all. So look, for Arsenal, it's a setback. Spurs, with their win on the weekend, have played a game in hand, but have also passed Arsenal in the table and are fourth right now. So it means that the North London derby is a critical game in the grand scheme of things when it comes to these two teams and if they're going to get Champions League football or not. But not to count out West Ham or Man United or even Wolves as yet. Those teams are definitely fighting for those positions as well. So for Crystal Palace, they are ninth. I think with this win, they crack the top 10, which is brilliant. So as much as they won't be fighting for European place, if they manage to finish around 9th or 10th, that'll be an improvement on the prior seasons. So good performance there by Crystal Palace, and they will look to build on that as the season progresses. So in terms of Arsenal here, for the next game, they do have a match against a struggling Brighton, who need a win badly. Then they do have Southampton and a big North London derby against Chelsea. So they have like a couple big games coming up. Chelsea, United, West Ham. You know, they still have Tottenham to play. That game is going to come in May. So that's going to be a massive one, man. So let's see what transpires from these fixtures. For Palace, the next game is against Leicester City. That'll be a good match. That'll be a good match. Both teams are, I think, similar right now, where Leicester have definitely dropped a level down. You know what I mean? So that'll be a very, very good game. And then Crystal Palace, remember, guys, do have the semi-final of the FA Cup against Chelsea. So still got something to play for this season. They could win something, man. Don't put it past Crystal Palace. Now, because City and Liverpool are in the competition still, if they do get past Chelsea, who, it's possible they would have to beat one of Liverpool or Manchester City there. So there you have it for the first one. Big up to everybody in here, man. How are you guys doing? Vanderpool Bryant, yeah, I did see the CONCACAF Nations League. I will check it out. No spoilers, please. No spoilers. No spoilers. I will check it out when I'm done. I plan to do a little something on it. So no spoilers, please. Thank you very much. I do appreciate it. Big up to the boy Adnan, man. Adnan, how are you feeling, bro? Hard luck about the whole Nigeria not qualifying for the World Cup situation, man. You know what I mean? But they don't deserve it. You see what I'm saying? They didn't play well enough to actually qualify. So, guys, with that being said, that's one fixture down. And let's move on to another one. Brighton and Hove Albion 0. Norwich City 0. Look, I don't know how Brighton didn't win this game, man. I really don't know. First thing we're going to look at is the stats. Brighton had 31 shots. 31 shots at goal, 4 on target. Norwich 6, none on target. It was a one-sided game where Brighton was just hitting Norwich with a barrage of attacks. McAllister, Trossard, Welbeck. Mopé even had a penalty, and he put it into Rosed. So Brighton had an opportunity here to beat Norwich, like I predicted them to beat Norwich, 2-1, and it ended in a 0-0 draw, stalemate. And I know Graham Potter will actually be very frustrated here, because they did switch up their setup a little bit, tweak things, putting on 2 strikers, going ahead with 2 strikers, and Mopé had the opportunity to become Brighton's all-time leading Premier League goal scorer ahead of Glenn Murray, who he's tied with, and missed the damn penalty. And I think that was his 200th game in England as well. So he's been around, but he's often been criticized for not being clinical enough. And that's what's going on with the whole Brighton team. They do not score enough goals. And the barren run recently definitely highlight that. Definitely. So, not much to really talk about this game. But one thing that we got to touch on is that, let me see, he didn't play, but I ran into an article that says Jakub Moder, the Polish international player who plays for Brighton and Hove Albion, would be out. Yeah, he didn't come in in the game. So he came in the 83rd minute and had to go off in the 88th minute because of an ACL. So it's very, very sad to hear this, because he's been a very promising player coming through, and it means that he would most likely miss the World Cup with Poland. So, yeah, I wish him a speedy recovery, man. Sometimes players recover faster from an ACL than expected, so let's hope for him he does. But Brighton had way too many opportunities in this game not to win the match. Big up to Tim Krul. He made a lot of big saves, a lot of big saves. Players put in a lot of big blocks and everything. Sam Byron must be a relief man. His handball that led to the penalty that was actually missed. So not the best performance by Norwich in terms of the attacking play, But in terms of their resilience in defense, you got to give them some credit there. So, look, Brighton, they'll be okay in terms of surviving the drop. They have 34 points after 30 matches. And you would think that with 8 games left, they will get 6 points, right? And when I say 8 games, I mean they do have to play Arsenal, Tottenham, Man City. Might not win any of those, seeing, those teams are fighting for things. But they do have Southampton, Wolves, United. They could beat United, Leeds, and West Ham. They do have some tough games. But I think they'll survive. They should get 6 points from their remaining 8 games because the Premier League matches are very, very unpredictable. And it's just sad that it looked as if Brighton was actually going to get about 55 to 60 points this season, but they only going to manage to get about 40 to 45 like they did last season. So, yeah, they teased us. They teased us big time, man. As for Norwich, guys, they're still at the bottom of the table. A point gained. They go up to 18 points. 8 matches left. Norwich needs 22 points in 8 games, which means they pretty much have to win 7 games and draw the other. You see what I'm saying? To get 40 points. That's a sweet spot in terms of surviving the Premier League, right? So the remaining games are against Burnley. They could win that game. Man United, they could win that game too. Man, Man United, banter club, man. Fun to talk shit about them. Newcastle, that's a winnable game. Aston Villa, that's a winnable game. West Ham, misfiring. West Ham could be a winnable game too, but it's going to be hard. Leicester, Wolves, Tottenham, these games are winnable. These games, I think they have a very, very good fixture list to finish the season. But unfortunately, they won't have it enough to actually stop. They won't. So I think that's bye-bye for Norwich. So yet another game where they failed to win. And for Brighton, even though they stopped the losing streak, they should have won the game. You see what I'm saying? So not much more to add in this one. Big up to everybody in the chat right about now. How you guys doing? Nice to see y'all in here once again. We just coming through to do the roundup as promised every single week. I was actually going to do it yesterday, but I wanted to wait until the Arsenal game was actually over. You know what I'm saying? I didn't want to do Arsenal like that and Crystal Palace as well and not talk about their match. So we will touch on a little Champions League today as well. Maybe I'll make some predictions because I haven't been in the mood to do those prediction videos, you know what I mean? Like everybody does. You see what I'm saying? I don't want to be like everybody anymore. I was never really like everybody, but just do the things that everybody do, you know what I mean? Just want to be different, you know what I'm saying? So, look, we're going to keep it moving, guys. That's 2 down. And we still got 8 to go. So, a point apiece shared by these teams. Okay, let's go. Let's talk about Tottenham 5, Newcastle United 1. This result really shocked me. Not the win, just by the 5-1 margin, right? Because I did predict Tottenham to go out there and beat Newcastle 3-1. As much as I like what Newcastle are doing in terms of them and their resurgence from the relegation zone, they have been going through a really, really bad rut right now. You see what I'm saying? And that's now 3 losses on the bounce. 3 losses on the bounce for Newcastle, man. That is back to the relegation form. But seeing that the teams below them, Watford, Burnley, Norwich, are not doing so well, and Everton, they should be okay. They got some breathing room, and that's what the brilliant run offered them, some breathing room. And, breathing room is always very, very appreciated. So in this game, Fabian Shaw actually opened the scoring for Newcastle. A brilliant free kick. VAR had to, review it for handball, potential handball, but it was deemed a fair goal. So that was a good, very, very good goal by Fabian Shaw. And then it just went downhill from there. I don't know what happened to Newcastle. Ben Davies put one in. I think Son with the cross, headed in. Matt Dougherty put one in the second half. Kane with the ball. And then Son Heung-min tapped one in. Kulusevski with the burst of speed and was to get behind the Newcastle defense and square the ball in. Son with the well-deserved goal. And he had Emerson Royale getting into the act as well. And then Steven Bergwijn just off the bench getting into the act. Lucas Moura, who came off the bench, set him up 5-1. It's an embarrassing scoreline there for Newcastle United. But to be fair to Newcastle, the last couple of games, they've been going through some things. They still have their injury problems in the team. And, I think they just getting a little bit of a wake-up call again after that brilliant run. They had a brilliant run where they didn't concede a lot of goals. They were scoring a lot of goals as well, and they were picking up quite a lot of points. But this is some sort of regression here by Newcastle, and they need to pull their act together. They need to really get their act together, or else who knows who could catch them. You see what I'm saying? You don't want Burnley or Watford to go on a mad run and then Newcastle is dragged back into the relegation talk again. But personally, I do think they'll be fine, man. I do think they'll be fine. But look, I just find that this Tottenham team under Conte, on the day, played with so much energy and so much belief. And they played like they were actually playing for something, like they wanted to prove a point. Every player went out there and did their thing on the day. You know what I'm saying? When the regular goal scorers weren't popping up with the goals, the likes of Dougherty, Emerson, Ben Davies, the fullbacks basically got into the act and contributed immensely to the win. Rodrigo Bentancur deserves a lot of credit. So to Pierre-Emile Hyber. These guys do the hard work, the dirty work in the midfield. But Kulusevski, I'm telling you, it has been a great addition. But hard luck for him in Sweden that they won't be at the World Cup. But him, oh my God, he's a live wire, man. Chris Wood goes, without a goal in this game. It's been a barren spell basically so far as a Newcastle player. I think he scored one goal. I think Ryan Fraser played very well in this game. Joel Linton, transformed into a midfielder and everything, but the defense just couldn't hold up to the rampant and the unrelenting Spurs defense on the day. So hard luck to Martin Dubravka, Eddie Howe and co., but they'll have to brush themselves off and come harder next time. So look, we know Tottenham, they have been very inconsistent under Conte, but for the last few games, 3 games to be exact, they've really, really, really got their act together with 3 wins on the trot. So Tottenham go past Arsenal, 54 points. They do have a game more, but they have that psychological edge now where they have a top 4 spot and they would just want to do everything in their power to keep hold of that. So big win, man. Big win. I expected a win, and that is what we got. I expected a lot of goals in the game. I predicted 4 goals in the game. We got 6 goals. So we were definitely treated, man. So for Tottenham, though, however, their next game is against Aston Villa. They do have a tricky fixture coming up where these games could seem very winnable, but they could go anyway. Aston Villa, Brighton, Brentford, you know what I'm saying? Brentford, guys, and Leicester City. And then they finish off the season with Liverpool, the North London Derby against Arsenal, Burnley, and Norwich. So they have some good fixtures at the back end, but those teams could be banana peels as well, where they might have nothing to play for at that time, and they could just go all out. So In terms of Newcastle, ran a blank for a second there. They play Wolves next. Then they do have Leicester, Crystal Palace, and Norwich. These are good fixtures as well. But the running at the back end are against Liverpool, Man City, Arsenal, and who knows, it could be a 6-point against Burnley. So for their next 4 fixtures, it's imperative that they win at least 2 of those. They must win 2 of those games to definitely ensure their survival. So big up to everybody in the house, man. King Huddle, Paul Nova, Abel in the house. Adnan, who says, Kane's playmaking from deep has been great. I'm starting to think Spurs will snatch top 4 from Arsenal. Big up to Pierre Paquette in the house. We have Aaron Guy, stop by. I don't know if Elias Abs, everybody. And the numbers have definitely increased as the stream have gone on. So, guys, make sure you like the video. Do appreciate everybody who smashed the thumbs up button already. And we're getting this thing done, man. I don't plan to be here all night. So we're going to keep things going and move on to the next game. West Ham United 2, Everton 1. Man, let me tell you something, man. I feel bad for Everton. But I did predict a West Ham win. I did predict a 3-1 win for West Ham. I made some solid predictions over the weekend, man. I think I did. And thanks again to everyone who came by the preview. You know, it was after the international break. We kind of, hit a roadblock sometimes when you transition from international to club. But it's all good. It's all good, man. You know what I mean? Slow and steady wins the race. It's not a popularity contest right now. We're just doing our thing. You see what I'm saying? We're just doing what we do every single week. This ain't nothing new. So, in this game, Aaron Cresswell scored a scrumptious free kick in the 32nd minute. Then Everton equalized. Brilliant goal by Mason Holgate. Deflection. Then that was it. Jared Bowen, who I didn't expect to play, scored another goal. He's contributing a lot of goals for West Ham this season. And then Michael Keane picked up a second yellow and he got sent off. What's disappointing about the Everton performance is that, guys like Richarlison. Let's take a look at the lineup here, man. Look, guys like Richarlison. You see what I'm saying? Dominic Calvert-Lewin. These guys are not really stepping up, man. But when you really look at the midfield that they got to provide them with the service, Iwobi, Doucouré, Holgate, these are not creative players. If you look at this team is very weak. Ben Godfrey, decent players. But it's levels to this. Mikolenko, the Ukrainian, Michael Keane, who got sent off, and John Joe Kenny. There's no creativity whatsoever in this team. It would have, only a brave man would have predicted Everton to win this game. Or even get something, because this team ain't look good. I'm telling you guys this. I have no idea why Frank Lampard is not going in with Dele Alli. I think Van de Beek got injured. But Anthony Gordon may have had some, fatigue issues maybe. But even the bench look light. Why bring in Anwar El Ghazi and not playing him? You know what I'm saying? Why you use one sub? Come on. You need one goal. You need to switch Lampard. You got to put that thinking cap on, and you gotta turn things around at Everton, man. Why is Dele Alli there not playing though? He's a creative player. Try him. Try something. Enough motivation for Everton, man. Look, well played to West Ham United. They continued their brilliant form this season, where they're definitely West Ham's getting a European spot. Whether it's a Conference League or Europa League or even a Champions League, they're getting something. You see what I'm saying? I would love for them to go on to win the Europa League and get into the Champions League that way. Win a trophy. That would be awesome, though. That'd be awesome. Nice to see Ryan Fredericks back in the team as well. And if you look at their team, looks much better. And I know the game's not being played on paper, but it looks good. Antonio worked hard. Unfortunately, not to get a goal. You know, the likes of Ben Rama, Shusek, Bowen, Fornals, Rice. Come on, man. Come on. Even Mark Noble ran up off the bench to get a sweat here. Quality performance by West Ham. I'm not going to act like they blew Everton out the park, but Everton had their moments in the game. But West Ham, I think, they grew. Their stature grew in the match, and I think they managed the game very well. And when you go up a man, it's always going to be to your advantage. And Everton, I think maybe if they had 11 players on the field, they could have picked up something from the game. Remember, they did it recently with that win against Newcastle. But what's also disappointing for Everton is that in their last 3 games, they have also had a man sent off, which is not good. This is not good at all. Everton Football Club are in a lot of trouble. 17th place. And to make matters worse, they didn't appoint a Sam Allardyce. They didn't appoint someone with the know-how to get out of a situation like that. They appointed Frank Lampard, who doesn't know anything about being in a situation like that as a player, nor as a manager. You see what I'm saying? So it was not the best decision. I could see what they're doing. It's an ambitious decision, but it ain't looking good. Look, personally, I think they'll survive personally, but the game that's coming up on Wednesday, they absolutely got to beat Burnley. They got to beat Burnley. It's no if, buts, maybes, nothing about that. They got to beat Burnley. If they lose, Burnley would still be within only 1 point, right? They'd still be above Burnley. What they also have going for them is that they have 10 games remaining, while most teams got 7 and 8. Everton are in trouble, but I do think they will survive on the strength of the teams below them actually not doing well themselves. So if Everton managed to get, let's say, I could see Everton surviving with about 33 points or something like that, 34, 33 points. But where are they going to get those points from? They currently do have 25 points, right, guys? If they pick up the 3 against Burnley on Wednesday, that could further doom Burnley, and it could put them 28 points, only 12 points off from that 40-point mark. Against United at Old Trafford, that's a winnable game. We know that. Leicester is a game they could get points off of. But then, it's a long shot. They play Leicester twice, actually. So they got to beat Leicester at least one of those times, right? So let's say they win one, lose one. That's 6 points. They beat Burnley, beat Leicester. Or let's say they get 4 to 6 points from those matches, right? It's going to be tough beating Liverpool at Anfield. They did it. They did it recently, right? But it's going to be tough. Chelsea's going to be tough, even though we know we know Chelsea are beatable. Right? They have the other game against Leicester. But the games that they must win, they do have a match against Watford. They do have a match against Brentford. These are promoted teams, man. You got to beat these teams. You got a game against Crystal Palace and Arsenal. So, they could go down, but I think they're going to just survive by the skin of their teeth. Just. They need a few players back from injury. And someone mentioned, I think Yeremina has been a big miss at the back. You know what I mean? And, you know, they'll have Allen back pretty soon. Calvert-Lewin, he has not been fit enough this season to really, you know, help Everton's cause. Guys like Fabian Delph has been out. But if you bring in Anwar El Ghazi and you bring in Dele Alli, you got to use him. I know Van der Beek came in. He had to miss. I think he was injured for this game. You got to use him, man. But look, kudos to West Ham. Let's give it up to West Ham United. Talk a lot about Everton there. Give it up to David Moyes beating his former team. Frank Lampard losing against a team that he came through as a youngster. But West Ham, 51 points, 31 matches played. Last season, West Ham got 65 points, guys. They came in 6th. So West Ham, this is not a fluke thing. You see what I'm saying? West Ham did this last season, and they're going to look to do it again. 7 matches left. You would believe West Ham could get into the 70s. You would believe that. They'll have to win every game, though. They'll have to win every game. It's going to be hard. It is going to be hard. But this team have definitely fought well. They're going to finish with about 60-something points and get maybe the Europa League spot again. I don't think they're going to get the Champions League spot. I don't think they're going to get it. I really don't. The next game is against Lyon in the quarterfinal of the Europa League. First leg at home. Then they play a London derby against Brentford in between. Second leg coming up. They do have Burnley, Chelsea, Arsenal, Norwich, Man City, and Brighton. Look, they could well win all those games. They're capable of beating all those teams. That's the beauty about this West Ham setup under David Moyes. They're brave. They take the game to oppositions, and they have picked up big results this season. But look, they're going in the right direction. Everton are not. West Ham doesn't have anything to worry about like they did a few seasons ago, and they definitely, will be looking to get one of those European spots, and they're playing in Europe as well. So all the best to West Ham, and praises to all the players who have been performing at high levels. Guys, thank you very much for tuning in. If there's something big that I am yet to touch on, if I miss any major talking points, please let me know. I'll be able to touch on that as we move on. So the next game that I want to talk about, guys, is Leeds 1, Southampton 1. And another solid predictions from your boy Dom. I predicted a 2-2 draw, but it finished in a 1-1 draw. And I have to give it up to both teams because I think Leeds played very well on the day. But Southampton, they stayed in the match. They were gritty. And a moment of quality there from James Ward-Prowse earned them the draw. So Jack Harrison in the 29th minute, very, very scrappy goal. But he managed to get it over the goal line. And James Ward-Prowse, man, god damn. I think he got like 13 direct free kicks now from in the Premier League. And he's 5 shy of David Beckham's record as the highest scoring free kick taker in the league. So you would believe with the way he's been putting them in lately that he's going to score 5 before he actually retires. So James Ward-Prowse, man. Meet James Ward-Prowse, the Premier League best ever free kick taker. Unofficially, but, I'm actually, talking about what's going to happen in the future, though. So, look, this was a big game for both managers. They know each other very well. They both came through the Red Bull system. Jesse March of Leeds United and Ralph Hasenhüttl of Southampton. I think Hasenhüttl have definitely turned things around, his fortunes around after those 2 8-0 drubbings across the last 2 seasons. And this has been another stellar season for Southampton. But for Leeds, you got to give it to March, right? I know Bielsa, definitely a legendary manager, and he did great things at Leeds, but they had to do something, and it's proven to be the right decision right now because, look, even though March came in and I think he lost his first game, he definitely turned the tide because they were on a very, very bad run, and they have now won their last 2 and drawn the other. So, the last 3 games, 1 draw and 2 wins. That's 7 points. That's massive 7 points. Where they now have a 8-point gap ahead of Watford, who are 18th. You see what I'm saying? And a 5-point gap ahead of Everton, even though Everton do have 3 games in hand. But for Leeds, they're looking at surviving yet another Premier League season. Last season, they were spectacular. But second season back in the Premier League syndrome have definitely affected this team. They got a big 6-point in the next game against Watford. Then they do play Palace. They gotta at least pick up 4 points from these games. That'll be big if they get 4 points. They could well, say they have survived if they pick up 4 points in those games, much less the 6. But they do have a tough run in after that. Man City, Arsenal, and Chelsea. But at the back end of the season, they do have Brighton and Brentford. Right? No disrespect to Brighton or Brentford, but Leeds would think that they would be able to beat those teams, right? So they still do have about 4 games that I fancy them to. They would fancy their chances of winning. But even the other games against Chelsea, Arsenal, Man City, who knows what they could pick up against those teams, you know what I'm saying? So it's nice to see Leeds actually pull things back, and it looks like they're going to survive the season. Good performance. Very, very good performance, in my opinion. It was a well-fought game, a point apiece. And look, for Southampton, they've had a, up and down season somewhat because 3 losses on the bounce. Before that, they were going through a very good, streak where they picking up a lot of points. They do have 36 points. So it's safe to say that Southampton won't be relegated this season, where at one point it looked like they could have been in trouble. 8 games left for them. And their next game is against Chelsea. Then they do have Arsenal, Burnley, and Brighton. So, look, there's winnable games in there. And we know how good Southampton could be on their day. So, for them to pick up 4 points from their remaining 8 games, definitely happening. Southampton will be in the Premier League next season. And they do have a billionaire owner, a Serbian, and they will be looking to spend money to try to get to the club to the next level. I'm not saying they're going to get to the Liverpool or the Man City or the Chelsea level, but they will be looking to go upwards. So that's my thoughts on that game, guys. Big up to everybody in the stream once again. Make sure you like the video. Let me know if there's anything you want me to touch on in the chat. If I see it, I'll get to it. But I do appreciate all the love and the support that you guys have given the channel over the last 5 years. So we're going to keep it moving. Wolves 2, Aston Villa 1. This was a derby, and I didn't actually make a solid prediction for this. I predicted Aston Villa to bounce back and beat Wolves, but it was Wolves that did Aston Villa in. So Villa have now lost 3 on the bounce, which is not a good look at all, but they'll be okay. They'll be okay. And Wolves, they coming off of a loss, so that was a good way to get things back on track. So Wolves coming off of a 3-2 loss against Leeds, and Villa off of a 1-0 loss against Arsenal, and you could add this to the list. So 2-1 in this game. We have Johnny in the 17th minute. Very, very good goal. Give it up to the Spaniard who missed a lot of the season through injury, and now he's back and he's adding that experience and that solidity to that Wolverhampton 11. He's one of the players that I was in the season when Wolves came back in the Premier League, as far as I could recall. He's been there for a long time, though. Quite a long time. And we had an own goal by Ashley Young in the 36th minute. Not a very good own goal there, Ashley Young, man. Come on. And Ollie Watkins was able to pull one back for Aston Villa from the penalty spot. But overall, I think Aston Villa were very, very tame on the day. Very, very tame. Watkins had a couple chances, and he finally got rewarded. Look, I don't like the 11 that Gerrard went in with. I don't too much agree with this 11 at all. You know what I'm saying? Leon Bailey and Watkins, you know what I'm saying? Morgan Sanson, he's a player. He gets paid. You got to find a way to involve him. But should it have been in that game? You see what I'm saying? Maybe he should have played someone else. You look at the 11 there. You have the likes of Douglas Luiz who could have started and do a better job. You see what I'm saying? Just think about it, man. You know what I mean? Think about it. You have McGinn who could have dropped back deeper, and you could have played Buendia if you wanted to. You see what I mean? So he had options, and I don't think he went with the right decisions there. And wasn't a very good performance on the day by Aston Villa at all. Not at all. Not at all. And one thing I must note before we move on from this analysis of this result, they were slipping all over the place. You see what I'm saying? The players were slipping all over the place, and it was very costly. And it's so ironic that Steven Gerrard, the slip and everything, and then his players were slipping all over the place. I think they did ask him about the slip as well, if I'm not mistaken. So I didn't look too much into it because I don't really want to linger too much on the slipping thing. But he did. The players were slipping all over the place, man. You see what I'm saying? Oh, in Aston Villa news, Aston Villa is delighted to announce Matty Cash has signed a contract extension with the club as well. So that is just something to add there, a little tidbit. And let me see if I actually find the thing. Okay, yeah. Gerrard on McGinn's and Konza slips. Well, any complaints or finger pointing from me would be cheap. Oh, that's a lovely one. That's really, really good. I love it. I love it. I love it. Because Gerrard said, who am I to talk about slips when I had one of the most epic slips in Premier League history, right? So, look, quality performance by a Wolves team that didn't have Raul Jimenez in there and Adama Traore, who left for Barcelona. And, I think Ruben Neves is out as well. Yeah, Ruben Neves. So Johnny actually played a midfield role. So, wow. See what I'm saying? Because you had Marçal, who does play as a left wing back. And I think Marçal is linked to the move back to Brazil as well. So let's see how that one goes. But this Wolves team, it got a little depth to it, though. When you really look at it, look at the bench. Ryan Nori, very promising left back. Nelson Semedo coming back from injury. He's a right back. He's had a quality season. You have Totti, who came back from Totti Gomez, who came back from loan from Grasshopper. He had a couple good games. Roman Saiz was on the bench. Pedro Neto, Chiquinho, very, very bright youngster who was brought from the Portuguese league, and Hwang Hee-chan, who had a goal, and I think he scuffed it. But you could see they have some depth, and they will only look to add to that come next season, because Bruno Lage and Wolverhampton Wanderers, have done a very, very good job. They're 8th right now, 49 points. Wolves are actually still in the hunt for one of those European places, whether it's a Conference League or a Europa League or even a Champions League. If, let's say, Tottenham, Arsenal, or West Ham go through a slump and Wolves continue to play well. So, quality performance. They did prove me wrong. I thought that without Jimenez, they would have struggled a bit, but they didn't. They didn't. They really, really didn't. So, their next game will be against Newcastle. So, that's a big game. Then they do have Burnley coming up, Brighton. So, they have some nice fixtures. They still got to play Norwich. So, look, they have a nice run in. And I think for them, they would want to get back in Europe, because under Nuno, they were playing European football. So I'm pretty sure Bruno Lage would want to get his team into Europe, which would make the club more attractive as well. So just before we do move on, Aston Villa, another loss. They've had an okay season for the most part. They're 11th right now. 3 losses on the bounce, 36 points, 8 games to go. It'll be another good season for Aston Villa. You know what I'm saying? They spent money, but they survived. That's a positive, that you survive and you will play Premier League football for yet another season. So give it up to Steven Gerrard and Aston Villa. They will look to go strength by strength. They do have some quality players in their team, even though guys like Coutinho didn't really play that well on the day, and Jacob Ramsey, these guys tried, but they got a lot of things to work on and a good team to work with. So Big up to everybody in the chat right about now, man. You guys are the real deal. We are still to talk about Liverpool's win over Watford. We are still to talk about Man City's win over Burnley. And we got to talk about those bums, Manchester United. We got to talk about Chelsea's embarrassing loss to Brentford as well. And I think those are the only 4 games that we got left, right? So let's just do a little rundown. We talked Crystal Palace, Arsenal. We talked Tottenham, Newcastle. We talked West Ham, Everton. We did talk Wolves, Aston Villa, Leeds, Southampton. We talked Brighton versus Norwich, which means we got Liverpool, Watford, Burnley City, Chelsea, Brentford, and United, Leicester. Let's talk United versus Leicester City right now. And Leicester, you know, they almost did it, man. They almost did it, even without Jamie Vardy. But that goal that they scored had to be chalked off by VAR. So quite unfortunate, though. Quite unfortunate. But they went out there and they took the game to United at Old Trafford and they walked away with a point. I have to say, United played with no intention. They played with no aggressiveness. It's like they were just waltzing and walking around on the field. And it's not until they conceded that goal in the 63rd minute there to Kelechi Iheanacho, former Man City player. Must be sweet, right? It's not until they conceded that goal that they came to life, basically. That was a good goal by Fred. Got to give it to Fred. He's had a solid season. He scored more goals this season, I think, than he scored in his whole Man United career. That was a good comeback goal. But then Leicester came and started playing some good football again. And United very devoid of ideas. They were looking to win the game in Fergie time as well. And if you check the lineup, no Cristiano Ronaldo. It was said that he had flu-like symptoms and the doctor advised against him playing. And the morning of the game, he didn't actually feel better. So, yeah, I don't think Sancho had the best of games. Really don't think he did. See, Bruno Fernandes there was playing a very, very advanced role. Scott McTominay. I'm glad I really see his name here. Scott McTominay, I must say, is not a very intelligent footballer. He's very rash. And sometimes he does not have the best interests at heart when it comes to some of the tackles at all. Because he should have got sent off. I don't care what nobody say. He should have been sent off for that damn tackle. I don't know how he survived a VAR review there. He should have got sent off. That's just my opinion. I just think he should have got sent off. But this is a poor result for United. Very, very poor. Very poor. And you have 2 of the most expensive defenders in your damn defense. Maguire and Varane. Come on, man. You could do better than that. Come on. Come on. David De Gea had to pull off some big saves. You see Leicester with 11 shots, 3 on target. United 11 shots, 5 on target. Kasper Schmeichel as well. It was a good contest, but it wasn't a good result for Manchester United. This is a great result for Leicester City. I think this is the 5th game running where United have failed to beat Leicester City, which is absolutely ridiculous if you ask me. Right? It is ridiculous. You check the head-to-head here. Look, 1-1, 4-2. So they failed to beat Leicester this season. A Leicester 2-1 win last season and a 2-2 draw. I'm not making this thing up. You guys think I'm making this thing up? I'm not making this thing up. This team ain't ready yet. This team not ready yet. And at the beginning of the season, we were actually talking up a storm about Man United and Cristiano Ronaldo, and they look okay going into the season, and they might win something, you know. They might just win something. They might just win something. And look at what we got here. No Champions League, no FA Cup, no Carabao Cup. Maybe not even a top 4. Should have just left Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in charge, man. Should have just left him in charge. Should have just left him in charge, because I don't know if Ralph Rangnick actually made a difference. I don't know. They don't lose as much under him, but not like they're winning a lot either. And I'm just going to send a message out right now to Erik ten Hag. Bro, don't do it. Don't do it. Do not sign for Manchester United. That would be the worst mistake you could make in your career. I would actually love if Ten Hag takes over from Pep when Pep leaves City. And I think that would be the better decision. You know, sometimes if you wait, the better job, you know, you get the better job. You know, there's good things come to those who wait. Just wait, Eric. Wait. Don't go to United and embarrass yourselves. Don't do it. I'm telling you, don't do it. So yeah. The board is the problem. The board is a problem, but they're not going to change the board. That's the thing. The board ain't going on. The board ain't going nowhere. The board ain't going nowhere. But you got to give it up to Brendan Rodgers and for Leicester as well for turning around somewhat of a dreadful form, because in their last 5 games they have only lost once. And they're still in the Europa Conference League as well. So give it up to Leicester, where we're saying that Brendan Rodgers is under a lot of pressure. What pressure? What pressure? 37 points, 10 games to go. Leicester, stellar season. Stellar season. When you think about what they were doing before they actually won that title, relegation, struggling to survive, and now, they went on to win the Premier League, went on to win the FA Cup, and solid top 6 finish in the last 2 seasons. And if you follow that up with a top 10 finish, that'll be solid. That'll be good. That'll be good. And this has also been the weekend where so the article reads, official source, Leicester City's football family came together on Monday for the inauguration of the Kun Vichai Sridharanpada, I can't say his name, statue at the King Power Stadium, an eternal tribute to the most influential figure in the football club's 138-year history. Today would have been his 64th birthday. So, yeah, let's keep, his family in our thoughts and everything. And, one problem that Leicester don't have, that Man United have, is the board. It's the board. And the owners. They have very good owners, though. So, pretty good stuff. Pretty good little tidbit there. So, look, I'm not going to linger too much. We still got to talk about City, Liverpool. We got to talk about them boys from Chelsea, them boys in blue as well. So I think we spent enough time talking about Man United. Seriously. But got to give it up to Fred. I think he's been the most improved player. But I've been telling people that Rafa Varane is the gift that keeps on giving. I keep telling people that, and some people still have Rafa Varane as a quality defender. Rafa Varane is not a good defender anymore. Okay? He hit its peak at Real Madrid in that very good team under Zidane that won those Champions Leagues, and in the tie against Manchester City, where we brush aside Real Madrid, I made the observation that Rafa Varane is done. And if you guys go back and look at how he conceded those goals, give away those goals, he's done. You see what I'm saying? You've been quite awful at Manchester United. And not to talk about Harry Maguire. You see what I'm saying? He's quite awful. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on. They can't decide whether they Who you, whether you play Tellez or Shaw at right back or left back, and then play one. They don't know what's going on right about now. Pogba is just walking and going through the motions on the field. I see they're bringing on Nemanja Matic. You want to win a game and you bringing on Matic? What kind of dumb shit is that? You see what I'm saying? Seriously. If you look at the substitutions, right? Look here. You have Nemanja Matic coming on when you have Jesse Lingard on the bench. Like, you're showing no intention of winning the game. Should have bring on Lingard. Free the boy Lingard as well, man. You know what I'm saying? But look, good performance by Leicester. I'm going to move on, but I got to give Leicester the credit, man. I got to give him the credit. And the Amati substitution was a good one as well, where look to close up shop and give Johnny Evans, who's been out on injury, had a long injury layoff, give him some rest. Fofana is back in the fray. Justin is back in the fray. Castagna is back in the mix. So Leicester, I think, will be all right for the rest of the season. You know what I'm saying? They won't play European football in terms of their league finish, but they should look to win that Europa Conference League. I'm just going to put it out there right now. So, look, going to move on for United, who are 7th right now. 7th. United are 7th, guys. Do you believe that? They're still in with a shout to get the top 4 spot, but I don't know. It ain't looking good. Their next game will be against Everton. Everton at Goodison Park. And Everton did manage to, let me see. I know Everton got something against Chelsea already this season. The last game, Everton got something against United. That was a 1-1 draw at Old Trafford. Everton, of all teams, who has been horrible on the road, right? And a team who lost 16 of their last 21 games or so, should be able to get something from this Man United team. Everton are going to fancy their chances come this Saturday. And then United got Norwich. And then the game against Liverpool is on April 19th. So, you Liverpool fans, you got a big month. You got a huge month, man. You got those Champions League matches. You got those 2 matches against City. And then you got that game coming up against United. Oh, man. You got Arsenal. No, I'm getting carried away. That United got Arsenal. But, yeah. They ain't finishing top 4. They're not. They ain't finishing top 4 at all. And I'm not just saying this because I'm a City fan. I'm just saying this from my assessment right now. They're not finishing top 4. So, in terms of Leicester, who are 10th right now, their next game will be against PSV in the Europa League quarterfinal. Then they face Crystal Palace. And then they have Newcastle in their next Premier League game. So, that's what's up. Big up to everybody in the stream right about now, guys. Make sure you like the video. We need to get to 50 thumbs up. And I would love if you guys make it happen. We're live again on a Monday. It's been a long day for me. I went to work. You know what I mean? I've been up since 4:40 this morning. And I've been grinding. You know what I'm saying? I've been grinding it out. We need 11 more thumbs up to get to 50. You guys could make it happen. I know you're capable of making it happen, guys. You know what I'm saying? I know. Look, Abel, I know, bro. I know. Everton, they got unlucky against City. We all know this, bro. We all know this. Big up to the boy Jove O'Hara in the house. And big up to the boy Jordan Hyman, LFC a delight, Raptors fan. Who else we got? Shadrach Dorsey, Brinks in the house. Everybody in here, man. Right now, big up to you. Like up the thing. And we're going to move into the next game. And this game, it will be an unforgettable one if you are a Brentford fan. And quite forgettable game if you are a Chelsea fan, if you want to move on from that horrendous loss. Look, I didn't think that Brentford had it in them. I predicted a 2-1 win for Chelsea. And Brentford, look, I didn't watch this game. I was at work and I was watching a City game. And this guy at work was like kind of, wanted me to talk to him. So, I was talking to him, watching a City game, and then couldn't watch the Chelsea game because I was going to tether the Chelsea game onto another phone. And then when I checked the result, I was like, WTF. I couldn't believe what I saw. I really couldn't. I was in awe. I was dumbfounded. I was like, am I seeing this thing correctly? Brentford 4, Chelsea 1. Yet another game where Romelu Lukaku did not start. Chelsea started off the game by scoring. It was a quite level first half, 0-0. And then Chelsea started off the scoring in the 48th minute. Antonio Rudiger with one of the best goals you could see, and probably contender for goal of the season. What a strike, and the way he celebrated. Brentford just rubbed their goals in his face because he was like sticking out his tongue and all of that. It was a good goal. The celebration, was justified as well. But you know what they say? You're most vulnerable after you just concede. After you just scored, pardon me. You're most vulnerable after you just scored. I don't know why I said concede. But Brentford hit back. Vitaly Janelt set up by Mbeumo. And then we had Christian Eriksen, who's been an inspiration for both Denmark and Brentford since his return from that cardiac arrest. And, he had to, put that device in his chest and everything, and he couldn't play in Italy no more because of the law over there. Brentford took him in. They took him in because, Thomas Frank is a Dane. You have guys like, I think Janelt is a Dane. Norgard, Ruslev. They have, who else, man? They have a few more. Can't come to mind right now. But the Scandinavians like Aya. You have guys like Pontus Janssen. Zanka is a Dane. You have Losel is a Dane. So, look, man. Look, I have the list right here. I could have just looked at the damn lineup, and I'll tell you who's a freaking Dane and who's not a Dane. But I think I got him all right. Janelt is German. Yeah, I just, Janelt is German, but he had a solid game. Mads Sorensen, Matthias Jensen, you know what I'm saying? So, look, it was a good fight back. It was a good comeback by Brentford. They had opportunities earlier in the game. They really had opportunities. Mendy with a horrible error. The opportunity not taken. And there was a few other chances for Brentford, opportunity not taken. And I even got to find out that David Raya made his international debut for Spain as well. So let's give it up to him. But for Mendy, who's listed as the best goalkeeper by FIFA, and his exploits with Senegal and what he's done at Chelsea, had an off day. That was an off day for Mendy. Conceding 4 goals is a rarity for Chelsea Football Club under Thomas Tuchel. But remember last season when they copped 5 against West Brom? So you do have a game where even with their defense, so, Rudiger and Thiago Silva, so solid, they do concede a lot of goals from time to time. See what I'm saying? I don't think Conte is the same Conte anymore. In my opinion, I know this might sound blasphemous to some Chelsea fans, but I think Chelsea should look to cash in on N'Golo Kante before it's too late. Maybe if PSG wants him, because N'Golo Kante is not the N'Golo Kante that was at Leicester and the earliest stages of his Chelsea career. I think N'Golo Kante last season, he was okay for the most part. Where there was even a time when we were talking about him potentially winning the Ballon d'Or. but then his form waned a bit. Injuries have affected him as well. The decision maybe to play Loftus-Cheek in midfield ahead of Jorginho with that, more creativity there. Mason Mount has not been the same player. Timo Werner is not that good at Chelsea in the Premier League. For Leipzig in the Bundesliga, yeah, he ripped it up. But how many times I had to argue with Chelsea fans over Timo Werner and his inability to really score goals at this level. And when I say this level, I mean the Premier League, where I think is a level up over the Bundesliga. Yeah, no disrespect to the Bundesliga, but I'm just saying. You know what I mean? You chose to start Timo Werner, and he ain't do nothing. You got to take him off. Lukaku came on, ain't do nothing. See what I'm saying? So you got to give it to Brentford, man. They came back. They scored some good goals. We had Christian Eriksen with that very, very good goal. Janelt chipped the keeper, Mendy, in the 60th minute. And you had Johan Wissa coming off the bench to blast in a volley. So 4-1 to Brentford. And this win is so huge. It is so huge that it put Brentford in a really good position to survive the first season in the Premier League. They have won 3 of their last 5 matches. So where Thomas Frank looked like him and his team were faltering and they could have been dragged into the whole relegation battle, 3 wins. You go from 24 points to 29 points. No, to 33 points, pardon me, across 4 matches. And their season have been saved. Brentford are not going down. And we've said this early on in the season that we believed they're not going down according to the football that they were playing. And I never expected them to win this London derby. The next 3 games are going to be London derbies. So we cannot count them out. We cannot write them off. They play West Ham, they play Watford, and they play Tottenham. We cannot write off Brentford. We can't. They have games at the back end of the season against a struggling Everton and a Leeds. Brentford, I'm pretty sure in those 7 games, will get 7 points to get to at least 40 and survive the drop. So, quality performance. I don't know what I saw there from Chelsea, but it was they were just not themselves on the day. They really wasn't. I think they were lucky enough to go ahead in the game, and maybe it was justified that Brentford came back and won the game so handsomely. Give it up to Ivan Toney, who I think had a good game, without getting on the score, but he was pretty good for Brentford. He's a very commanding figure as well. So Christian Eriksen, man. Christian Eriksen. I'm loving this story already. I just hope that Christian Eriksen stays at Brentford. We see that his form he's regaining his form. I don't want him to regain his form and then potentially go back to Spurs or let's say go to Manchester United, where I think he was linked with for some time. You see what I'm saying? I want him to stay at Brentford. Stay at Brentford, become a legend at Brentford. Who knows? Maybe another team outside of the Premier League might come in for him. Surely not Italy, but who knows? You know what I'm saying? I hope he stays at Brentford with Thomas Frank and build something there. Help to build something there. Maybe next season they could recruit another Dane. Maybe a player like Mikkel Damsgaard could be recruited. Maybe a player like Daly. You know what I mean? Like not Daly. What I said, not Daly. I'm thinking Mailer, Joachim Mailer. You know what I'm saying? So bring in a couple quality Danes and keep the thing going. You feel me? You feel me? Big up to Christian Norgard as well. That player flying under the radar. I think he has the most tackles in the league. You got to give it up to Ethan Pinnock. Ethan Pinnock has been a rock at the back for Brentford. Pontus Janssen. And I think they have regained their form as well with David Raya coming back into the team. These are the little things that we gotta actually. I think Mbuemo had a solid game. You see what? These are little things that we gotta talk about. But good win for Brentford. That's a big win, and it's a laughable performance by Chelsea. And as a opposition fan, it makes me laugh, man. It makes me laugh. I'm delighted. I am delighted. Big up to all the Chelsea fans. Big up to the boy Ankit from the Almighty Blues FC. You know what I mean? Chelsea Perspective. And all the other Chelsea dudes, man, who are friends with the channel. You know, so big up to the boy Javale O'Hara. Yeah, funny. But we're going to keep it moving at hour 15 minutes. We're going to look to land the plane. But before we do, the next game for Chelsea would be in the Champions League against Real Madrid. That's coming up on Wednesday. And with that being said, in terms of the Champions League, I'm thinking about doing a watch along tomorrow for the City and the Liverpool game. That will be played at the same time, I think. I'm gonna do a watch along for that. I don't do enough watch alongs, so that'll be like a treat to you guys. You know what I'm saying? So I think I'll do a watch along. Do you guys want to watch along tomorrow? Let me know if you want to watch along, man. You know what I'm saying? Let me know if you want to watch along. I haven't been doing enough watch alongs, so I had promised myself to do more, but I never really got around to it. You know what I'm saying? I didn't keep that promise. I really didn't. So I do apologize for that. You know, life gets in the way, man. Life gets in the way. And I'm a very busy man. I got a lot of responsibilities. Having 3 kids, a wife, and being an adult with a house, cars, everything, it's very hard. It is very hard, man. You know what I mean? So sometimes I feel very jealous of the single man, and I feel jealous of kids these days. I wish I could be a kid again without any cares in the world. Only school. And then again, I'm actually glad that I'm not going to school again. So yeah. But we're going to move on from the Chelsea talk. I know a lot of Chelsea fans don't want to actually hear me talk about Chelsea. But they do have Real Madrid. Next, Southampton, Real Madrid, and the FA Cup semi-final against Crystal Palace. So a lot of big games coming up. And Chelsea could definitely get caught by Tottenham or Arsenal, so they got to watch themselves. As for Brentford, the next game will be against West Ham, a London derby. And I did mention that they do have Watford and then Tottenham. 3 London derbies coming up. They have 4 in a row. They have already won 1. And one of those that I never thought that they would have won. So we're going to move on to the next game, and that one is Burnley versus the league leaders, Manchester City. And in terms of my prediction for this game, I made a solid 3-0 prediction, and it ended in a 2-0 win for City, with Kevin De Bruyne scoring in the 5th minute, set up by Raheem the Dream Sterling. And Ilkay Gundogan in the 25th minute, set up by Raheem the Dream Sterling again. Sterling had a solid game, man. So give it up to Sterling and give it up to City for picking up another routine win against Burnley. Let's take a look at something there. Head-to-head. Burnley City. 16 games played now. 12 wins for City. 1 win for Burnley. 3 draws. Look at the last few games. 2-0, the double this season, 2-0 again, 2-0 last season, 5-0, 5-0. So it's just been a team. They're just a team. We meet them in the cup as well. They're just a team that it's like a free 3-pointer. You know what I'm saying? It's the same like City versus Watford. It's like a free 3 points. I think at the beginning of the season, the 4 fixtures, if you have Watford and Burnley in the league, just give 12 points to Man City right off the jump. Pretty sure it's going to happen. Pretty guaranteed points. So, yeah, man. City, look, stay on top. Burnley, they stay in the relegation zone. It ain't looking good for them at all. But in terms of the stats for this game, you could see City dominating with 76% possession, 18 shots, 6 on target, 902 touches with 778 passes. And look at Burnley's stats. They hardly had the ball. They did get 3 shots, 1 on target. I think they were able to fashion out a couple good opportunities, but not clinical enough on the day. And as I mentioned in the preview, Wout Weghorst would have been very isolated for the most part. I think Cornet should have started the game from the beginning. And look, it was always going to be a hard game for Burnley. Whether they're home or whether they're away, it's going to be a hard game against this very well-drilled, well-oiled, rampant Manchester City outfit. Look, we take a look at the City 11. I just want to touch on a few things here. Look, Nathan Ake, I got to give Nathan Ake a lot of credit. He did clear one off the line. I think they would have looked into that offside, possible offside, but it doesn't matter. He cleared one off the line. Laporte, had another solid game. I think João Cancelo looked bright as usual. Kyle Walker, had an okay game. And Edison back in the mix after some illness issues there. He had to stay sharp on a few occasions. I want to mention something to you guys. I don't know if you guys noticed this, right? Last season, when Aymeric Laporte was bitching and crying about game time and he could potentially move out of the club, what does Pep Guardiola do this season? Play Laporte in every game. And John Stones is like the fall guy. He's English. He's part of the team. He's part of the furniture for the foreseeable future. And he's the fall guy. Like Pep be like, yes, Stones, chill. I got you in my plans, but I need Laporte as well. So you just chill. You're going to take it easier. You're not going to cry about leaving City. But for Laporte, he could easily leave and go to Barcelona or Real Madrid. You see what I'm saying? He would look to leave. Stones is at home in England. So Pep now, he got Laporte. He got him. Laporte don't want to leave anymore. Another player that happened to is Bernardo Silva. This is probably the only game that Bernardo didn't start. Bernardo has been starting every single game for Man City. He came off the bench in this game. He said he wanted to leave. What did Pep say? Haha. Listen, you're going to play every game. You're going to play. You're going to play as many games as possible. Who's the fall guy? Gabriel Jesus. You know what I'm saying? Gabriel Jesus. He doesn't really play a lot of games. Sometimes Sterling would sit out. You know what I mean? So that's what Pep does. Pep has a way of, preserving his teams, keeping it competitive within, and keeping players happy as well. And you got to love it. You got to love it. Maybe Riyad Mahrez is still torn from not qualifying for the World Cup with Algeria. He wasn't involved. I thought he would have been involved. But, Pep is a weird man, though. He makes some weird decisions, but you got to trust him, man. You got to trust him and you got to appreciate him. So, look, another quality performance by Manchester City. As I mentioned, Burnley did have a few moments in the game. I would have loved if it was more. I know people would have criticized Jack Grealish again. But look, you got to just give Grealish some time. You see what I'm saying? His team is winning. His team is on top of the table. Not like City are fifth and you could just rip into all the players. The players are doing well. You see what I mean? The players are doing well. Ruben Diaz is going to come back from his injury pretty soon. And then, But if you need Nathan Ake, he'll be there for you because he's put in some solid performances lately. And that's how the team managed to stay strong for a very long time, because of the personnel, quality players that you could call on when you need them. All right, so some teams could actually, learn from that. Burnley guys, they've had a bad run-in, man. They've had a really bad run-in, and in the last 5 games they're on when they haven't won any games, and they lost their last 4. This is definitely relegation stuff. But they're still not relegated simply because of Everton. Everton only got 4 points ahead of Burnley. They play them this Wednesday. That's a 6-pointer. If Burnley are able to pick up a win against Everton, they could really put the pressure on the Toffees, and picking up more wins would actually get them closer to a Leeds and Newcastle and closer to safety. But it ain't looking good at all this season for Burnley, though. It ain't looking good. Their remaining fixtures are the next 4 games. They gotta at least win 3 of them, because look, you play Everton, struggling. You play Norwich, struggling. You play West Ham. You look to get something, even a draw from it, or an odd win. Southampton, a beatable team. You could beat Southampton. There's Wolves. Even the Wolves have been playing well. There's Watford. There's Villa twice. And there's Newcastle and Tottenham. Burnley could still survive. It's hard to call. It's hard to call. As I mentioned numerous times, I really don't care if Burnley go down, because they're not an attractive team to watch play. You know what I'm saying? Not the most entertaining team. But it'll be sad in a way, seeing that they're a team that do grind and they show grit, and even though they don't spend a lot of money, they still manage to survive season after season. But this could be the season that they're going to go down. As for Manchester City, are we going to win the league? If you don't know, I'm a City fan, you know what I mean? I'm a City fan. I've been a City fan since 1894, if you don't know. And we're on the cusp of winning yet another title, ahead of Liverpool and Chelsea. Could we actually hold on to this top spot? We're holding on by a thread, literally by a 1-point thread, because Liverpool do have a better game goal difference. For City, the next game will be in the Champions League against Atletico Madrid. The next 4 games, absolutely huge. Right? The match against Liverpool is most likely going to be the decider. Because if Man City wins this game, they go up 4 points. Right? And then Liverpool could start losing that belief. They get 1 point from the game. The belief is still there. But it's still City in the driver's seat. Right? So it's imperative that we don't lose against Liverpool at home. We don't lose. It's imperative that we don't lose. We can't lose. We cannot lose this game, right? Gotta beat Atleti to get to the semi-final of the Champions League. And then we got a semi-final in the FA Cup against Liverpool again. So some very tough games. But in terms of the matches remaining this season for City, Wolves, a postponed game, Brighton, Watford, Leeds, Newcastle, West Ham, and Aston Villa. All these games are winnable. All. So you get past Liverpool, and you win everything else, and you win the title. That's the map. That's the blueprint. Pep, I hope you're watching. Man City players, I hope you're watching. Go out there, do your thing, and let's win another title. And let's rub it in Liverpool fans' faces at the end of the season. Let's do it. Let us do it, man. That'll be my pleasure at the end of the season. Because I know if City fail to win the title, they're going to do the same thing. They're going to do the same damn thing. But look, yet another win. Was a formality. I didn't expect anything different. And I got to give it up to the boys, man. They've been doing well. High concentration levels, high levels of football. And let's win this title, man. Let's win this title. Guys, This week is a big week. Liverpool, Man City this weekend. God damn. Jeez. I won't be home, though. I won't be home to do a watch along or anything. But best believe later that day, I'll be going live, okay? So, guys, that'll be it for this one. We're going to keep it moving. We just hit 100 people in here right now. Guys, smash up the thumbs up button. Do appreciate the turnout. It was a slow start, but we have done well today indeed, okay? So, like up the video. Let's hit 50 thumbs up, and we have one more game to talk about, and let's move on to that game. Also, before we do move on, I read into an article that Jack Grealish is on the verge of agreeing a major sponsorship contract with Gucci. Okay, the 26-year-old City and England midfielder is set to sign a 7-figure deal and become ambassador for Italian brand, thought to be unprecedented among sports people. So give it up to Grealish, man. More money in his pocket. More money, man. More money. So yeah, we're gonna keep it moving. Last game. Let's go. I predicted this one right as well. Liverpool 2, Watford 0. Well, in terms of the result, but I did predict Watford to get a goal. 3-1 to Liverpool was my prediction. And Liverpool won it 2-0, a clean sheet. Positive there for Alisson as he stay ahead of Ederson in terms of the Golden Glove race. Look, Diego Jota, 22nd minute. I have no idea how Jota do the things he does. You know what I'm saying? I really don't. You know, he just pops up and score these goals. Man. Watford did not take their opportunities whatsoever in this game. They had opportunities. They had chances. And when Liverpool give you chances, Mr. Juraj Kucka, you got to take the chances, Juraj Kucka. You got to take the chances, man. They had some good-ass chances and fluffed their lines. But you got to give it to Joseph Gomez, who played at right back on the day. He was quite solid, and he put in a Trent Alexander-Arnold-esque cross for the opening goal for Diego Jota. But Liverpool looked like they weren't going to score. Jota with that run. Getting to the ball first, headed in, pass, Foster, Ben Foster, who didn't get out quick enough. And Jota, man, 14 goals in the Premier League this season. Awesome. That is awesome, man. That is awesome. But Liverpool dominated proceedings, 20 shots, 3 on target, 73% of the ball. Watford with 5 shots, 2 on target, 26% of the ball. It was always expected to be a Liverpool win, just like it was expected that Man City beat Burnley. So, even though the Liverpool fans were actually watching the Burnley City game and praying, got their candles out and everything, praying that City lose the game or draw the game, it was never going to happen. Just like you guys were never going to lose this game against Watford. Watford tried. They really tried. They tried. But it was another poor performance. Fabinho with an 89-minute penalty. I think Fabinho came off the bench, if I'm not mistaken here. Yeah. So Liverpool went in with Van Dijk, Gomez, Robertson, Matip at the back with Alisson. And as I mentioned, I gotta give it to Gomez, man. That was a solid cross. That was brilliant. And he was good on the day in terms of his defensive game. And I think Klopp should give Gomez some more opportunities. And at times, he could even play Trent Alexander-Arnold as a winger. You see what I'm saying? Or in the midfield. Try something different if you got the wiggle room to try something different. You see what I mean? Thiago Henderson, Curtis Jones in the midfield. Yeah, so Fabinho did come off the bench. Trent Alexander-Arnold wasn't fit enough to start. Firmino, Salah, Jota. Mane came off the bench. Mane didn't really look that good in the game. Salah didn't really look that good either. Firmino was okay in my opinion. Played the whole game. Didn't really have any opportunities really. But Jota, oh man, this man just keeps providing and producing the goods for Liverpool. What a signing. What a signing. And Luis Diaz, I think, is a Jota type signing. You know what I mean? Similar type of player. And these guys are this is the type of signing that would improve your football club. Liverpool, they got to learn from this. And they got to keep spending that money on quality players. You see what I'm saying? Look at where you could improve. If you want to beat City in the future, if you want to beat City to the league or beat us up in the games, you got to look at where you could improve and get rid of these weaklings and these crybabies in the team. You see what I'm saying? And you bring in players who are going to, when they play, the quality ain't going to be dropping. You see what I'm saying? So, yeah. Easy win for Liverpool, in my opinion, man. Formality. As I mentioned, Watford did get a couple look-ins. Quality pretty much lacking on the day. Liverpool got a big test coming up. Could they go to the Etihad and walk away with something, even a point? Could they manage that? I know the Liverpool fans would be very bullish about their chances of doing that. But I have to say this right now. It's going to take a whole lot for you to come to the Etihad and get something. It's on. It is on. It is on. Potential title decider between Man City and Liverpool coming up this Sunday. What a game it promises to be. Because I'm telling you, man. Let me show you. Let me show you something. Let me just show you something, right? Let me show you something. We're talking about the next fixtures for Liverpool. Let me show you something, right? We go over here and we click fixtures. Let's click fixtures. Let me show you a little something. Where's it at? Man City, Liverpool. You see this game here? You see this game that was played on Sunday, the 3rd of October? That was a hell of a game. That was one of the best games I've ever seen. This game had everything. You know what I'm saying? But I have to say, I don't know how Liverpool didn't win this. Liverpool should have won this game. The opportunities and everything. Liverpool should have won this game, man. This game had that Salah goal as well. You see what I'm saying? Foden, De Bruyne for City, Mane and Salah for Liverpool. Oh my God, it's on. It is on. It is on. It is on, man. I'm telling you. I don't even know how to analyze this game. It is on. Because none of these teams are going to sit back and not fire blows. You see what I'm saying? They're going to go at each other. Both of the teams got weaknesses with the high lines. So, of course, players are going to get in behind. And it's promised to be a hell of an occasion. Okay, so it's imperative if Liverpool wants to win this title, they got to beat City. I think they got to beat City. Absolutely got to beat City. They do have Benfica coming up in the Champions League, quarterfinal against Man City, semi-final, in the FA Cup. And then they do have two crucial games. Even though those games are at Anfield, these games are two crucial games where they come up against United, a big foe, and against Everton in the Merseyside derby, where those games, the next 3 games for Liverpool could potentially drop points in all 3 or at least 2. But on the flip side, if Liverpool go unscathed by winning all 3 of these games, it might as well give him the title. Because by doing that, I think it's deserving of a title. You beat City, you beat United, you beat Everton, and let's say they beat City in the FA Cup and beat Benfica. Like, come on. It's a rough. No, I sound like a dog there, but it's a rough April. It's a rough April, man. And I think if they progress from the Champions League, they will have a Champions League game again in April. There's some big games. The game against Tottenham, it's at Anfield. The game against Wolves, it's at Anfield. Aston Villa, Villa Park, Southampton. Teams that has beaten Liverpool recently. In my opinion, guys, not because I'm a City fan, I don't think Liverpool are going to go on to win this title. I think Man City got an easier run in. But for Liverpool, they require more. And if they manage to pull it off, it would be deserving. But I don't think they're going to do it. That's just what I think. Never mind what I think. I know you're here to hear what I have to say, but never mind what I think. Just know that Liverpool are going to give it their all. And you got to give it to them because they're the only team really saying something. Saying what's up to City. That if, let's say, Liverpool weren't in the title race, it would have been damn boring right now. But now we got something to talk about. And I am very, very grateful for that. I'm very, very grateful. Very grateful for that, man. So, yeah. Look, before we land the plane here, for Watford, they're in the relegation zone, 18th, 22 points. And it ain't looking good for the Hornets. They play Leeds in the next game. Then they do have Brentford. 2 games that they have to absolutely win if they want to survive. They do have Man City, Burnley. They got some good fixtures coming up. They got Everton, Crystal Palace. They got some games that they could win. But they gotta win them. They gotta win them. Easier said than done, though. So, congrats to Liverpool on their win again against Burnley. Watford, pardon me. And City with the win over Burnley. And the teams go head to head, neck to neck, toe to toe, however you want to put it. And winner takes all. I think whoever wins this game coming up this Sunday, it put them in a very strong position to win the title. That's my thoughts for this week. Big up to the boy OBOKK who says, let's bet, bro. The way Liverpool is set up today, I will beat City on Sunday. Let's bet 1,000 cash. Klopp will humble City on Sunday. Bro, as much as I know I could win $1,000 from you, I got my mortgage to pay. And I'm not putting up 1,000. Because if I lose that shit, I'm telling you, I'm going to regret it. So I ain't putting no money where my mouth is. None at all. None. Okay? Let's not put nothing on it. We could bet a bottle of Hennessy if you want a bottle of Hennessy. You know what I'm saying? Guys, make sure you smash up the thumbs up button for the live stream. What we're going to do right now is we're going to transition and we're going to talk about some Champions League, okay? Let's talk about the champions. Let's go, man. Let's talk Champions League. Because we got Champions League football coming up tomorrow. And I'm telling you, 2 big clashes, man. 2 big clashes. Liverpool versus Benfica. And Manchester City versus Atletico Madrid. Okay? So these are some big games, man. These are some big games. Benfica, historically a massive club, and we shouldn't take them lightly because most of City's talented players came out of Benfica. You see what I'm saying? And we can't take them lightly. So we're going to talk Champions League right now. All right? We're going to talk Champions League. I cannot do this live stream and not touch on the Champions League. I cannot have a Champions League quarterfinal coming up and not talk about it as well. So, look, quarterfinal, semifinal draw. Let's go. Look, Chelsea versus Real Madrid. Villarreal versus Bayern Munich. Man City versus Atletico Madrid. And Benfica coming up against Liverpool. Look, fixtures. Let's get the fixtures here. And we got Tuesday, April 5th, City will host Atletico Madrid. And at the same time, Benfica will play host to Liverpool. As I mentioned, I want to do a watch along for this tomorrow. And just to have a little thing. Buy some beers and we have a nice time. You know what I mean? Eat some chips. Drink some beers. You know, talk about the games. You know what I mean? The build up. And then, you know, have the watch along and then do the review for those two games as well. And then on Wednesday, we do have Chelsea playing host to Real Madrid. Not the ideal way to play Real Madrid after losing to Brentford. Real Madrid will be like, whoa, ho, ho. I like that. And then Villarreal would be hoping that they could pull an upset over Bayern Munich. So look, in terms of my predictions for these Champions League quarterfinals, guys, I think Man City would get past Atletico Madrid. I think we would get past Atleti. You know, I think we got more firepower than they have, and we are the better team right now. Even though they won La Liga last season, they're still in the top 4 of La Liga right now. But they had an indifferent season than last season. They're not playing their best football. You see what I'm saying? And I think City could actually exploit that. They do have quality, of course, we know that. World-class goalkeeper Jan Oblak. And a lot of very, very good players. They got pace. They got skill. They got grit. They got a manager who, you know, the team basically embodies. And they're not going to be a pushover. But I think Man City would just have enough to get the better of them. There's also a possibility of them knocking City out in the quarterfinal. We're not going to act like that cannot happen. But I do think that Man City are going to prevail here against Atletico Madrid. Too much firepower for them to handle. And City are going to waltz into the semifinals where they will face one of Chelsea or Real Madrid. So it's only fit that I talk about that tie and let you guys know who I think will go on to win that one. So Chelsea coming into the tournament as defending champions, and of course they're World Club champions, and they've had a stellar season so far, somewhat. They had some, you know, good results, more good results than bad results in the Champions League, but they have lost that odd game in the Champions League, you know what I'm saying? And in the Premier League, the form has not been as consistent as we all thought it would have been. And I spoke about our loss against Brentford. They've been dropping points left, right, and center. Lost twice to City. You know, I think they drew to Everton. You know, they didn't beat Liverpool in any of those two games as well. So for Chelsea right now to get over a Real Madrid who's playing some good football in La Liga, top of the league, by about 9 points right now, or 10 points or so the last time I checked, 12 or so points. Their Champions League survival hinge on Karim Benzema. And we saw that El Clasico game where without Benzema, Real Madrid played like they didn't understand how to play football, right? But Benzema is back. You see what I'm saying? So after the loss against Barcelona, he came back against Celta Vigo with a brace. So it shows how important Karim Benzema is to this Real Madrid team. And when Benzema is playing well, Vinicius is playing well, Modric is playing well, Cruz is playing well, because he's the focal point of the team. But you take him out the team and you got to move Modric, you got to move these players around, then you disrupt the whole thing. Benzema, he has been at Real Madrid since 2009. You see what I'm saying? He's been playing Champions League football since about 2006, which is ridiculous when you think about it. At a young age for Lyon and then at Real Madrid. The man is a legend. You know what I'm saying? I know some of his off the field, antics have tainted his career somewhat, but he's managed to salvage it back in the French team, playing well for Real Madrid. And I think they'll be too much for Chelsea. I really think they'll be too much for Chelsea. And Chelsea's problem, is, when you thought the defense was solid, I think the problem is that Thomas Tuchel still does not know his best 11. Lukaku brought in for big money, 100 million, and he's not playing. You see what I'm saying? Conte's not playing his best football, in my opinion. Jorginho is not a permanent part of the team. You see what I'm saying? He's not. Then you have the situation of fullback where Reece James injury, Ben Chilwell injury, you know what I mean? Werner is not playing well. He's not scoring. Mount, he's like so. This game he might play well with a good assist or two. He might score, and then he disappears. Ziyech, one of the brighter spots. Havertz, one of the brighter spots. But, it's too many ifs. It's too many ifs. It's too many, I think, distractions. Even though they have been pulling off some scrappy wins, a lot of scrappy wins. I think the loss against Brentford, we may have seen it coming. You see what I'm saying? Even though I didn't predict it, when you retroactively look back at the whole thing and use hindsight, you'll be like, you know what? That was coming, that was coming. And I don't think they have it in them to get the better of this Real Madrid team. They did last season, and I think Real Madrid are out for revenge. And I think Real Madrid are going to knock Chelsea out the Champions League and will face Man City or Atletico Madrid in the semis. Any way you put it, it's going to be a really good semifinal. Chelsea versus City, Chelsea versus Atleti, Atleti versus Real in a Madrid derby, or Real versus City. Any way you put it, that side of the bracket is going to be very, very good. So I'm going to go for Real Madrid here. So City to face Real Madrid in the semifinals, in my opinion. And, of course, most likely Man City will prevail from that because, of course, managed Real Madrid very, very well. When was that? Pre-season before? I can't even remember. It was like a piece of cake. Look, Villarreal versus Bayern Munich. Just like the Salzburg tie, I think the first leg is very important where Villarreal got to get something from this game. They got to get something from the game. You know what I mean? A draw. A draw of any kind. Away goals don't count. A draw of any kind. A 3-3 draw would be fine. But I'm telling you, this Bayern Munich team is going to be hard to topple. It's going to be hard to topple. And as good as Villarreal have been winning the Europa League against United, knocking United, basically, well, they were grouped with United, right? But them doing well in the Champions League, amazing. Who did it knock out? Juventus? So you can't put anything past this Villarreal team. You really, really can't. You really can't. But I don't think they're going to get the better of Bayern Munich. I really don't. Bayern, a bit too powerful, and they're looking poised to go all the way again, or at least make the final, right? But what I have to say, the semifinal what it looks like it's gonna be is promised something great, man. And I mean, on paper you would say it's Bayern versus Liverpool. Oh man, that is gonna be good. Remember, Liverpool did not buying out the Champions League a few seasons ago. I think that was on their way to winning the Champions League, if I'm not mistaken. So that would be a good one. That would be an awesome one. And that is why we love the Champions League. You know what I'm saying? We get matchups like a Bayern versus Liverpool, a City versus an Atleti, a City versus a Real Madrid. This is beautiful. This is absolutely beautiful. You see what I'm saying? This is things of dreams. I think Bayern will get the better of Villarreal. Even though Villarreal did knock out Juventus, Juventus have not been playing that great. I think likes of Sane and Lewandowski and Kimmich and Neuer and Muller and Musiala, you know, and co are going to get the better of Unai Emery's Villarreal. So Julian Nagelsmann's Bayern over Unai Emery's Villarreal, the Yellow Submarine, and, you know, Bayern to move on. I like Villarreal. I like Danjuma. I like Yeremy Pino. You know what I mean? Parejo and all these guys. They've done well. They've done well across the last 2 seasons in Europe. But this is where their journey ends. Unai Emery should have gone down in the Europa League. And the last one there, Benfica versus Liverpool. You know, kudos to Benfica for getting this far, knocking out Ajax and all. But I think, and I think this is where your tournament ends. This is where it stops. It's done. It is done. This is one of the more one-sided quarterfinal ties. No disrespect to Benfica. They got some talent in their team. They got Darwin Nunez playing well. You know, there's all this Rafa Silva, Andre Almeida, and these guys still around. They got some talent. Everton. But the way they got past Ajax was not pretty. You know what I mean? I'm not saying you have to be pretty, but it wasn't pretty. See what I'm saying? It was like a sucker punch. Could they manage to do the same to Liverpool? Guys, too much firepower for them, man. Liverpool would need to have a serious off day twice to get knocked out to Benfica. Both have won the Champions League before. Chelsea, Real Madrid won the Champions League before. Bayern won it already. Not Villarreal, not Atletico, not City. Could we be getting a fresh winner this season? Let's hope so. Let's hope it's City. But Liverpool should get the better of Benfica, though. Without going further into this one, I'm going to disrespect Benfica big time. I'm going to disrespect you. Liverpool, Bayern in the semis. One of them will go into the final to face, for me, one of City or Real Madrid. God damn. Are we going to see Liverpool versus City in the final of the Champions League this season? Or are we going to see Bayern Munich versus City? Or Liverpool versus Real Madrid again? Any which way you put it, we as football fans are going to be treated. Okay? We're going to be well treated. Big up to the boy Dane Richards in here, who says, I see an upset, but I won't speak further, but they won't want to hear I'm salty. And good point, Dane Richards. We could also see a situation where the Champions League throw us a twist, right? That could happen. That could be a possibility where we like little twists, right? We like a little twist here and there, right? I don't think there's gonna be no twists. Ain't gonna be no twist here, man. You know what I'm saying? No twists. You see what I'm saying? No twists here. So that's my predictions there for the Champions League. City, Real Madrid, Liverpool, Bayern. Sorry, Chelsea fans, but I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced. And I won't mind meeting Chelsea in the semis across two legs either. So we did it. We did it this season. We beat Chelsea twice. Bring them on. The more times we could beat Chelsea, the better. The better for me. The more we could beat them, the better. And I'm not being bitter about the Champions League final either. I'm just still pissed off at Pep Guardiola for that, though. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's what's up. That is what's up, though. That is what's up. Guys, tomorrow we will talk about the Europa League and the Conference League. I'm not going to go into that right about now. It's late. It's 10:35 p.m. I got work in the morning. It's going to be a long day tomorrow again. And I haven't got any rest since I came home. You know what I mean? Guys, my wife went on her first driving lessons today as well. So she's, practicing to be a driver. Wish her all the best. I'll finally have a break. Big up to some at the Longhouse. Big up everybody in here. Some days I could be like, I ain't got to go pick up the wife. She's going to drive back on her own. You know what I mean? But it's also scary as well, where when you think about her being on the road is dangerous, though. See what I'm saying? Road is dangerous. But I'm just saying, so I have sisters, they drive. I have a brother, they drive. I don't worry about them like that. You know what I'm saying? So I'm only saying that now, though, because it's my wife. See what I'm saying? And she's very nervous when it comes to the driving. Very nervous. Guys, what else you want to talk about? Is there anything else you want to talk about? Tell me, is there anything? I would definitely appreciate it if anybody bring up anything of interest that we could actually talk about right now. And let me just hit you with some things that I could, I find on Reddit. You know what I'm saying? Our Soccer. There's a lot of good articles on there. Just going to give you guys some insight there. If you want to find a lot of things that's going on in the football world, you could check Our Soccer on Reddit. And there's been some news that Liverpool's NFT range flops with just 10,000 out of 171,000 available in the first 6 days of the club's much maligned foray into the cryptocurrency market. I think it's too early to call, man. I think it's kind of, unfair to say that it flopped. I'm just saying, you know what I mean? I'm just saying. Simeone came out and said, I never had a chance to have Xavi, Busquets, Piqué, Iniesta, Messi, and so on. Beyond Guardiola's great talent, he was lucky to always be accompanied by extraordinary players. Well, I guess he's, good enough to get those jobs. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Well, you know what I mean? Yeah, right? Right, guys? Right? Right? And Pep Guardiola sarcastically said that he is going to overthink the game tomorrow. And I quote, tonight, I will do incredible tactics. We will play with 12. And what's up with that thing? I did run into something that Bayern Munich had 12 players on the field. Bayern Munich had 12 players on the field at one time. And I didn't watch the game. They played against Freiburg. But I do a quick search of Bayern Munich here. And you guys, I'm going to share this with you. And you guys will see exactly what pops up here. We're going to go into this some more. We're going to do a little bit of the rabbit hole football show right now. A show that I came up with and never continued. I think back then when I came up with it and I stopped doing it, I didn't like the reception that I got the first 2 episodes. Big up to Paul Nova, man. Peace out. I didn't like the reception from the 2 first episodes. And I kind of said, nah, man, I'm done with this. It wasn't encouraging. But I was wrong, though. I should have continued with it. I think I'm going to do more football rabbit hole shows in the future. So, yeah, Bayern Munich, man. Bayern Munich. News. Uncomfortable Freiburg appeal after Bayern Munich substitution mix-up. So, what happened here? Let's click on this. Freiburg have appealed against their 4-1 Bundesliga defeat by Bayern Munich at the weekend, when the defending champions played with 12 men on the pitch for a few seconds, saying on Monday that they were uncomfortable with their decision. The incident occurred in the 86th minute when Corentin Tolisso and Kingsley Coman were to be taken off for Marcel Sabitzer and Nicolas Sula. But the fourth official displayed the wrong number for Coman, and the French winger played on for a few seconds according to the champions and referee Christian Dingert. Freiburg said they found themselves in a dilemma through no fault of their own as they deliberated their next step before deciding to appeal against the validity of the game following intensive discussions and legal consultations. Freiburg played no part in and had no influence over the events surrounding the substitution process, the club said in a statement on their website on Monday. Despite this, the DFB, German FA, legal and procedural regulations have forced us into taking an active role in having the events legally reviewed. But guys, it was not upheld. It was not upheld. Bayern top of the table with 66 points from 28 games, 9 points more than second place Borussia Dortmund. It's fair to say that Bayern Munich have already gone on to win a goddamn Bundesliga once again. Jeez, call it the Bayern Liga. The Bayern Munich and the Bundesliga fans get mad at me. You know what I'm saying? They get mad at me. You know what I mean? There's been news that a third club has entered the race for Kylian Mbappe, confirmed by his entourage. The identity of this club is not certain, but it's not Barcelona. Guys, are Liverpool going back in for Kylian Mbappe? Or we're going to see Kylian Mbappe at Liverpool? You know, I did hit up my boy Kyle, and I asked Kyle, I said, Kyle, what about Mbappe to Liverpool? Is that still going to happen? Are we going to see Mbappe to Liverpool still? You know what I'm saying? Is that a thing? Is that still a thing? Is that still a thing? The Mbappe versus the Mbappe to Liverpool thing? I like that all black background though. I like that. That looks sweet. That looks sweet. I could, that look like we on demon time there. Or we could also go and, be angels and turn it all white. But look, Mbappe, is he going to go to Real Madrid? Stay at PSG. Oh, we're going to see Mbappe at Liverpool. At Liverpool. Yeah. Look, Klopp said that, when asked if Luis Diaz gave him any tips about playing against Benfica, Klopp said that he tried for 10 minutes and and Klopp himself couldn't understand a single word. There's also been news that Kylian Mbappe will renew his contract with PSG. The official announcement will be made this coming May. I don't know about that. I don't know. You guys are pushing it with that Mbappe thing, though. See what I'm saying? Guys, who do you think will get top four, Arsenal or Spurs this season? Who will get top four? I would actually prefer Arsenal get into the Champions League than Spurs, to be completely honest. Not to hate on Spurs or anything, but I would definitely prefer to see Arsenal in the Champions League ahead of Spurs. I'm just keeping it real, man. I want to see a new team in the Champions League. And this is what the Leicester City statue looks like of their deceased owner. And you could see the Buddhist monks surrounding the whole thing. Guys, I actually saw some of these real Buddhist monks when I went to Sri Lanka back in 2006, though. Very cool stuff, man. Very, very cool stuff that people dedicate their lives like this. Crazy when you think about it, right? Crazy. You know what I mean? So, as I mentioned earlier, Aston Villa announced the extension of Matty Cash's contract. Okay, so yeah, Matt Cash signs an extension. We're just going through some things right now. We're just going through some news. something that I always wanted to do. I won't be long though. I do have to go to the store and pick up some things for my wife. You know what I mean? She's probably be like, damn, I told this guy I needed some things from the store and he's yet to freaking come upstairs. So the right back joined Aston Villa in September of 2020 and has enjoyed 60 appearances to date, scoring 3 goals and registering 6 assists. All right. So the 24-year-old who was voted the club's player of the month for March made his international debut for Poland in November and last week helped secure qualification for the 2022 World Cup in Qatar. So how long is the contract though? They're not saying anything though. He signed a contract, but they're not saying how many years is the contract. See what I'm saying? Let me click this. How many years though? How many years? I could actually find that for you guys really quick. Well, I could read through these things, but it would take a long time. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to find Matty Cash over on Transfermarkt and see when, how much is this contract extended by, right? You know, pretty smart guy. I'm a smart fella, guys. Not a fart smeller, but a smart fella. So for Matt Cash, his contract now goes up to 2027, guys. Wow, 2027. So he's now valued at 22 million euros. And if you need a quality right back, you're going to have to pay a lot because his contract has been extended. Okay, so give it up to Matty Cash. Big up to everybody in the stream. Goran, Dane Richards, Vandos, Landos, everybody, Palomo in the house. Big up to y'all, man. Guys, make sure you smash up the thumbs up button. We're just pushing the live stream a little bit extra to just touch on a few things. And I will do this show. I will do this as a whole show in the future where we just talk about random things in football around the world. We're going to talk about things, you know, a couple videos. We won't be watching the videos though. And I have a couple plans that I want to execute, but I'm holding them in right now. You know what I'm saying? I'm holding them in. Look, there's been some news that in America, football, soccer, the USL has ambitious plan to surpass the MLS as top US soccer league by having relegation in there and expansion. So let's see if the USL managed to do that. I would actually follow the USL then because it's going to be more interesting, you know what I mean, than freaking MLS with no relegation, you know what I'm saying? You do garbage this season, you come back and you play again. Nah, that should not be. There should be some merit to things. What do you guys say? What do you guys say? And look, we're going to leave this thing, we're going to leave today's stream with one thing here. One thing we're going to talk about before we go. And we're going to talk a bit about this guy. Marcus Rashford is at crossroads. You see that? Marcus Rashford's Man United England career at a crossroads. And I have to agree, and I have to say, Mr. Marcus, for those of you guys who watch porn back in the day, you should know a guy by the name of Mr. Marcus. But look, Mr. Marcus, I advise you, leave Manchester United and maybe go overseas to play some football. Don't join another English club. Just follow the Tammy Abraham route. Maybe go to Dortmund or one of these teams, you know what I'm saying? Maybe go to the Bundesliga or the Italian league and go and score some goals. You see what I'm saying? Because you thrive very well in those leagues. Not being on the bench for United. Imagine Rashford was a top guy at Man United. Rashford used to be that guy. You know what I'm saying? And what is he now? He's basically a bum. He's a bum sitting on the bench. Rashford and Jesse Lingard and these guys, they need to leave. But guys, look, 2 hours, 14 minutes. I've really overspent my stay here. We got 65 likes. If you haven't yet liked the video, make sure you do so. We've done well. Big up to everybody watching the live stream. Watch along, right? Watch along. The replay. Big up to you watching the replay. It's late. I got some things to do. Gotta go hit up the wall, the Rite Aid or something right now for my wife. Gotta eat something. Haven't eaten all evening, and I'll talk to you guys tomorrow, man. I'm gonna do a watch along tomorrow. So look for the watch along. I'll whip up a thumbnail real quick, and we're gonna have a Champions League watch along. City, Atleti, Liverpool, Benfica. Guys, it's your boy Dom. Thank you very much. It was a fun one. We have a lot more work to do, okay? A lot more work to do. We got a lot of World Cup content. We got the Premier League. We got FA Cup. We got Champions League. We got future shows that I have in the pipeline that I don't have enough time to do. But, guys, I'm not going anywhere. Thanks again for 50,000 subs. It's a big achievement. I want to do a Q&A for that. I want to put out some questions, put out a post, and you guys will leave questions there. Let's see how that one works out. But look, thanks again to everybody for tuning in. And from your boy, Dominic Rich, until next time, peace out. Rich Squad. Peace.